The California wildfires unfortunately continue to rage on with no regard for, of course, what they're burning down, whether it's the $50 million mansion on a Malibu beachfront property or a more modestly priced $500,000 average home somewhere else in Los Angeles. Yeah, the fires don't care. That's generally how natural disasters work. Take it from somebody who grew up, born and raised, and lived in New Orleans through Hurricane Katrina. We can tell you all about that. But just like it was 20 years ago for Katrina, the media story hasn't changed, and that is this: women and minorities hardest hit. Yeah, this from the Associated Press. The California wildfires could be leaving deeper inequality in their wake. Why is it that every time that there is an opportunity for the media to present themselves as being a bunch of morons, they take to it like ducks to water?
Renegade Online.
We're going to play this one because this is what we're now dealing with, right? Every time, and we've heard this for years. I mean, when I say years, I mean I can remember back into the 90s. So let's 3+ decades. So and such terrible thing happened. Women and minorities hardest hit. Ron is shaking. He knows exactly where I was going with that. And here we go, right here. And we're getting this in California.
Yeah, we had a rule, Valiant, not to put intoxicated people on the show, and here you go again.
Yeah, I'm not going to get struck again by YouTube because I have not I didn't doctor the last video. Didn't know it was doctored. This is coming right off of C-SPAN. I don't think there's anything here to doctor. Let's listen, America, to what we almost had to suffer through.
It is our lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions and impacted by.
They have $7 million houses?
You have $70 million houses, Mr. Coleman. All right there.
Well, the average house in
you guys know. She's talking about North Carolina. You come on. Surely she must be.
Right, because that's top of mind for her.
Oh, yeah.
Right, exactly. Now, let's listen to this, because it gets better.
It is our lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions and impacted by issues that are not of their own making. And so absolutely. And so we have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place.
There it is.
And if we want people to be in an equal place, sometimes we have to take into account those disparities and do that work.
She just gave the textbook Marxist answer for we need to redistribute the wealth. Because remember, the American taxpayer is they're going to try to put the entire country of America on the hook.
When exactly is this from? When did she say this? Last couple of days?
Yeah.
By the way, I've put this through the Google Translate. I translated from Harris to English. And apparently what she's really saying is that a lot of Guatemalans lost their jobs taking care of the mansions, the grounds of the mansions up on these mountains, and we should feel very badly for them. That's what she was attempting to say, apparently.
Yeah, I had this clip here. I mean, unless this was pulled completely out of context, which the internet is sometimes known for. I just found it interesting. But yeah, so I had it marked. But the reason why this jumped out at me, Ron, is because by no accident, it seemed like this was going to begin. It did begin. Let me show you why I think that this is right on the money. Because we have this from the Associated Press. The California wildfires could be leaving deeper inequality in their wake. Now, I don't know where.
This guy looks like he's got quite a wake.
God bless those suspenders. Those suspenders have been through things you can't even imagine.
Where did they find a black Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is what I want to know. I mean, that is a big dude. But yeah, so this is my point is we're getting this out there. This is from today. This article came out from the Associated Press. The California wildfires could be leaving deeper inequality in their wake.
But you know what? Before
Women and minorities, hardest hits.
Before we keep going, let's just say that guy in that picture, I bet that guy is the life of the party. You want him to be anywhere near you. I bet he's a lovely person. So I don't want, listen.
We're not knocking this guy at all.
No,
we're not knocking, look at this.
Throwing him in there, but we like him.
He looks like he's got a great attitude.
Yeah, he's out there with his garden hose, man. He's like, do whatever I can. Get the house behind him burning down to the ground.
We love this guy.
Yeah. Let's see, where are we? The sight of celebrity mansions and movie landmarks reduced to ashes can make it seem like the wildfires roaring through L.A. affected a constellation of movie stars. I don't think anybody ever thought it was just movie stars, but okay. But a drive through the charred neighborhoods around Altadena, and I don't know exactly where this is. I really don't know Los Angeles that well. Shows the fires also burned through a remarkable haven for generations of black families, avoiding discriminatory housing practices elsewhere.
The fire, you mean the fire has a level of sentience and it avoided?
That's what I was wondering. Did the fire avoid housing discrimination?
Is this the Babylon
the families
yeah.
used it as a haven.
Okay.
Yes.
Just
to avoid, yes.
Hold up there. I thought we were applying consciousness and hatred to the fire itself.
No. Generations of black families avoiding discriminatory housing practices. So they moved there. I don't know exactly what that means in this context, but okay, they threw that in there with the lead paragraph. So you can my point is you can see where this is going. Okay. They have been communities of racial and economic diversity where many people own their own homes. Some now fear the most destructive fires in California's history have altered that for good. Recovery and rebuilding may be out of reach for many, and pressures of gentrification could be renewed. First-generation college student Samantha Santoro at Cal Poly Pomona remembered being annoyed when the initial news coverage of the wildfires focused more on celebrities. She and her sister, who attends UC Berkeley, worry how their Mexican immigrant parents and working-class neighbors who lost their homes in Altadena will move forward. We don't have like, oh, I'll just go to my second home and stay there. Okay, to be fair, and I don't know what it's like in California, most people don't have white, black, rich, or poor, or whatever you want to call it, middle class, upper middle. We don't have a second home, and we just say, oh, I'll go stay there while my primary residence burns down.
Let me put it to this way. Eddie Murphy's got more houses than I do. Morgan Freeman's got more houses than I do. Like, I don't need to keep going.
Super rich people, yeah. The super rich people, yeah. But I mean, the 90+% of the folks out there don't have two houses, two homes. So
even most actors are not as rich as most people think they are.
No,
only the top 10% really make the kind of money that they think.
Let me throw something in here real quick, and I agree with Tom. There's a little bit of trickery being played by this article. I know everybody's shocked by that. The vast majority of Altadena is flat, low level, nowhere near the mountains, unforested, completely urban, not part of what we're talking about. That's where these diverse areas are that we're talking about in the article. There is a sliver of this particular region near the Loma Alta Park, which is where the fires are. And those are ultra rich people. Most of them. Now, there may be some people mixed in there, but the vast majority of the individuals who would be impacted in any way, I think it's the Millard fire is the one that we're talking about here. The vast majority are going to be extremely wealthy people. And what they're doing is they're lumping in all of the Altadena population statistics and saying, well, this, all these people are affected. No. It's a very few people in this particular area are affected. And those who are in the mountains, in the hills, and it is ultra exclusive. So I just want to point out the trickery that's happening. And there you go.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. And to that end, it leads into what I was going to say before about the kind of how this relates to what we went through in New Orleans after Katrina. The news media, they wanted to focus in on how, all the devastation or the vast majority of the devastation, all in this poor area and poor this. It's like, no, one of the first places to go was white, middle class, upper middle class neighborhood that was absolutely, it was one of the first levees to fail. And then that water came in, and that was all she wrote. And I think here, again, possibly to the same angle, then that they focus on the areas and they want to do these headlines where they talk about, again, women and minorities hardest hit kind of thing.
Right. But now, I want to be very clear. Let me make sure everybody understands this, because I don't want to get stuck with anything here. I want to make sure everybody understands. Like, I don't care if you're rich or poor or you're middle class or where you are. Like, your house burning down, that's awful. And most people, whether you're rich, poor, or in middle class, you don't have multiple homes. Nobody wants their house to burn down. I'm just saying that there's some trickery in this article that's trying to present this as if this is affecting a diverse population, and they're substituting the Altadena census info for these very, like, on the edge of the outskirts of Altadena that are being impacted. And that's just not, it's not a proper reflection of reality.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.